Hi, it's Mama Rose, and I went to make a orange cardamom bundt cake today, which I had made before, and it's dairy-free, but I was looking in the oven, and I realized something's not right. It's not rising, so I went back to my recipe, and I looked, and I forgot to put the oil in. So while the cake is cooling, which I'll check it out anyway, so I can use the pan again, I thought I'd bring you in on it. My neighbor, I usually make this bundt cake without the orange. I will put Young Living orange essential oil in it, which I'll show you, and that's my flavor. But my neighbor gave me some oranges, so I thought, go ahead and make it according to the recipe. It's a little higher carbohydrate. So I went ahead already, and because I had a few oranges left, I decided I'd grate all the oranges up. See how I just kind of roughly got the orange peel off of there, the zest they call it. And I got about 4 tablespoons, and the recipe calls for 2 tablespoons each. So this is a little shy of 2 tablespoons, but I went ahead, put it in this container. I need 1/4 of a cup of the orange juice, so I'm going to go ahead and I strained it already. I'm going to measure it out, and then I'm going to go ahead and freeze the orange juice with this so that if I want to make it again with the orange, I've already got it. I went to buy an orange the other day to do it, like last week, and I wasn't going to spend 70 cents on an orange, not when I can get them for free in California. So anyway, I wanted to show you that, and I'm going to go ahead and bring it down here. I've got a couple of the oranges left. Just make sure if you do this, that you do it, you get the zest off of the orange before you, whoopsie daisy, before you juice it. Otherwise, you'll never get the orange out of there. Now, I have one of these little tools, and of course, I have very expensive, very efficient machines that do this, but just for a few oranges, I didn't want to drag a machine out. So I was like, I get this when I need a lemon or two, and then when I want to get a lot of juice, like my lemon juice, which I use a lot of, and I just have marked it out the big machine. Oopsie daisy, and I didn't want the pulp in there, so that's why I'm doing this. It really wouldn't matter because we are putting 2 tablespoons of the zest in there, and I will put the recipe down below as I go through it, but I wanted to just do this really quick and show you how we get this ready. So this is a little bit more labor intensive than the way I did it before, which was just use the cardamom and the vanilla, and it was a really nice flavor. So I'm going to go ahead and measure this out, and I'll be right back. Okay, well, my mistake is out of the oven, and it's really pretty. I can't remember what this pan is called, but any pan will do. You can use a bundt pan. If you don't have that, you can just use a round cake pan or a square bake pan or a rectangular bake pan. Just make sure you don't overcook it. Now, this doesn't have any oil in it, so when it's cool, I'll open it before we leave each other, and we'll see how it is without any oil. But, of course, right away when I make a mistake, I'm like, okay, that's it. I've got to make it again. So here, that brought me to making this for you guys. Okay, so my friends out there that are dairy-free, this is your answer. So I'm just going to run through the recipe, although I will put it down below. So already in my bowl, I have 3 cups of blanched almond flour, okay, and I ended up with this one here. This is, but whatever one you get is good. Oh, I blocked it. It's Bob's Red Mill. Okay, got that. And then, so 3 cups of blanched almond flour and 2/3 cup of granulated erythritol or whatever sweetener you're using. Of course, don't use Splenda or Equal or any of them, guys. This is the one I use. I got this at Sam's Club, but I have not been able to find it at every Sam's Club. But at Walmart, they have this in a smaller size. It's like $6.99. This was, I think, 12 something, so it was a really good deal. But any kind of Lancanto has one that is with monk fruit. This is erythritol with stevia. That one is twice as sweet, although I still used about the same measurement. I don't really cut it in half because it's not quite sweet enough if I do that. But there I digress again with the recipe. So it's 3 cups. All my dry ingredients are in here. I'm not going to hold that anymore. I'm just going to read my recipe. And this is the book that I got it out of. I love this book. It's got some really good recipes in it. It's got my favorite lemon curd recipe in here, and there's a tartlet recipe in here. A lot of good recipes. I'd really recommend getting it, and there's who wrote it, and you can get it on, you know, Amazon or anywhere. So this is 3 cups of blanched almond flour. This is the kind of storytelling I like to do. 2/3 cup of granulated erythritol sweetener, 1/4 cup of white protein powder, and I'll show you that in a minute, 1/3 cup of cardamom, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, aluminum free of course, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and I use the Celtic salt. So then I went ahead and did that already, and that is in my metal bowl here, all my dry ingredients. And then what you want to do is just get a wire whisk, which I gotta go grab one. That was pretty quick. And just mix it up. It's real easy. Just kind of mix it all up here and get all that in. And I just twist it around. This is one where you don't really have to have any fancy equipment. You don't need to whip up any eggs or anything like that, which is really good. Just makes it real easy. And if you wanted to, of course, you could double this recipe, which I probably will do eventually, and then make a couple of cakes or make one large cake and then maybe some small bundt cakes. My cousin gave me a cute little bundt pan. I gotta try it out. Okay, so mixed all that up. And then I already went ahead, I'm gonna put this down real quick. I went ahead and I did my eggs. Oh, by the way, any egg white protein will do. I just happen to have this in the cupboard. This is vanilla flavored, but you know, find what you like. And then of course the problem that I had the last time with the cake I just showed you is I forgot to put the oil in. So that was bad. So in this bowl right here, which I am so happy I found my bowl, I already put the 3 eggs and I whipped them up. I put a 1/2 cup of, not avocado oil, I put a 1/2 cup of the MCT oil. I usually get a brand from Costco that's all organic and everything, but these are pretty good. And this is a glass container. I got that at Natural Grocers, and it really wasn't that much. So I did use the MCT oil, which stands for medium chain triglycerides, and it just helps our bodies make ketones, and it's just a better thing to do. If you do have a problem with fat, this will not bother you. The fractionated coconut oil, which is what this MCT oil is. So we went ahead and I have in here the 3 eggs, a 1/2 cup of MCT oil, a 1/2 cup of water, and then here's it's a little less than 2 tablespoons of the orange zest, because I did all my oranges that I had, because I explained, I don't really buy oranges, but my neighbor gave me some. So I divided up my zest between these two, and I took a little out of this batch, and I put the orange juice. There's a 1/2 cup of orange juice in each one of these, and the recipe calls for a 1/4 cup of fresh orange juice. So obviously if I do these, I'm going to double my recipe with these, which I intend on doing anyway. So the orange juice is already in here. Yeah, it's in there. I don't remember putting it in, but I did put it in. Now, this calls for a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract, which I already put in it, and it calls for 1 teaspoon of orange extract. Now, I don't use any, if it's a vanilla extract, that's one thing, but if it calls for any other, like peppermint oil, peppermint extract, or anything that I have an essential oil, and this is Young Living orange essential oil, and I love to use this. I usually don't cook with it. I usually just flavor with the oils, but it's calling to cook with it, and that's fine too. Now, I'm only going to use a couple drops. It's very concentrated, so I'm only going to put, there we go, 3 drops in there. Now, you can diffuse this. It's a lovely scent in the air, like you're, amongst the orange blossoms. I also use it in my cranberry sauce. After my cranberry sauce is done and almost cooled, I put this in it, and that I love that. So there's lots of things I'll use that for along the way, but I did want to showcase that in this recipe because I am using that. And then that's it. So then all you want to do at this point is mix this in with this. So I'm just going to make a little well in the middle, put half of it in here, and I'll be right back. Now, the recipe recommended doing this with a spatula, and I went to do it with a wire whisk, and boy, now I know why they said to do it with a spatula. So I had half of that in there, and then I'm just going to pour the other half, and in case my sister's watching, I better get every little particle out of this bowl. There. Okay. There we go. There we go. Okay. And then we just mix it up. So, like I was mentioning, this is dairy-free. So if you do have friends that can't eat the dairy, because a lot of the desserts that I do make have a lot of heavy whipping cream and cream cheese and sour cream and all those kind of things in them. And of course, I have friends that are lactose intolerant and can't eat this. Later, I am going to make angel food cake, and I was able to discover that whey protein isolate is lactose free and casein free. So it is, and I have a friend that's very lactose intolerant, and she was able to eat it. So we're all ready to put it in our pan, and I'll be right back with that. Boy, it is light and fluffy. What a difference with the oil. I can't believe I forgot the oil. But, you know, I've had things like that before where I forgot to put the salt in the bread and when I was making bread. And, you know, there's nothing you can do about it but start all over again and make croutons, I guess. We'll see. I'm going to go ahead and get this in the oven because that tastes so good. I'll be right back and I'll cut into that mistake I made. By the way, I wanted to mention that the recipe calls for the 3 cups of blanched almond flour, but it's 300 grams. And when I went, I measured 3 cups and then I measured to see how much it weighed. And in my case, it was under the 300 grams. So from now on, I'm going to go ahead and do use your scale if you do have one. So let's see what this is like. It's very dense, of course, without the oil. So you can see the crumb on it. It's pretty dense. All right, let's see. All right, here we go. Let's see how it tastes. Good. Good without the oil. I like it. And Mark will like it. Now, I'm not really worried about the fat and the oil in it, but if you were watching some calories, you cut out a few on this because there's just no fat in it other than what was in the eggs. So anyway, have a good rest of the day. And this would be good with like a drizzle. I could even take some of that orange juice there, which I might do. I don't think I'll freeze it all. I'll let you know how I do. And make an orange glaze. Or you know what? I don't even need the orange juice. I have the Young Living orange essential oil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a glaze and use this to flavor it. And then I won't have any calories in it at all, no carbohydrates in it at all, and it'll be raw, and I'll get the benefit of the orange oil on my cake as well. All right, so I'll be back at you in a little while when the other one comes out of the oven, and then we'll see how different that is in size and everything from the one without the oil. So sometimes making a mistake works out good. So in this case, we'll see what happens. I'll be back in a while. Okay, I am back, and I have got the cake that I redid right here ready to go. Here it is in my beautiful pan. Let me just switch this out here. Over here. Oh, there, can you see it? Oh, I better put it down. There we go, like that. There, now we're better. These glasses up here. There. Oh, isn't that nice? Now, it doesn't really look like the size is a whole lot different. Look at that. Is it? Without the oil. Okay, so what happened earlier is I had made this and realized I forgot to put the oil in. And so then I went ahead and did another one with the oil. So I'm not going to cut into it, but I am going to come back and I'm going to do like a little orange glaze, and I'm going to use my Young Living essential oil to flavor it with, and we're going to see how that works out. But in the meantime, either one worked great with or without the oil, and I will put the recipe in the notes down below for you. Okay, so what I did to make the glaze is I didn't want to make it dairy, because remember, this is for my friend that does dairy free, and of course everybody else will eat it too and like it. I wanted to make this just thick, but not so thick it wouldn't pour. So I think I'm going to put a little bit more. You just kind of got to guess at this. And I used my little Ziploc plastic container because I can pour it right out of the edges. But whatever you want to do is fine. You can even just take it and drip it from a spoon, I guess. Now I'm going to flavor it with the orange. So here's my Young Living essential oil, and I really only need a drop. So I'm going to taste it and see. Just want to give it a little orange flavor. Now it's not going to have an orange color, but okay, here we go. Definitely got orange in it. But you know what? I'm going to add another drop. All right. I think that's going to be good. And I'm just going to drizzle it. And try drizzling it this way. And I did put a paper towel, see, underneath my rack, so that all I got to do is rinse the rack if it gets... did I do too? Oh, it's drying so quick. Oh. That's a good sign. It's going to be nice and dry on here to look really pretty. Oh my gosh. And I tried to do this when it was warmer so that it would drizzle down, and I had a phone call, and of course I ended up not getting this out when it was warm. But I'm going to put a little more water in there. And of course I'm using good water. You know, whatever purified water you use, you want to do that. Now I got it too thin. But that is hardening up really nice. So I got it. So this is just a game of going however. So I'm going to finish it up. Oh, there we go. There we go. Drizzle, drizzle, drizzle. I think that's a really thin glaze. So that'll be a good experiment for me to see what it looks like when it lands. We just wanted something really pretty on top. And that's it. Bon appetit. Enjoy.